Dusk to dawn, September 11th to 12th, 2021. The usual Orion all-in-one astronomy camera, 3-second exposure, 1 frame every 3 seconds. You know, I review these videos and I gotta look at them like a couple times. And one of the things I notice is that late, like around midnight, slightly after, slightly before, after the evening rush hour ends, you know, all the air traffic goes away, I see a tiny dot moving so slowly. The stars are moving, but this thing is tracking against the stars. As the stars are moving, but this thing's keeping a line going somewhere. And it's very slow and very dim, and it seems to be flashing. So I'm not catching all of it, I'm just catching the flashes. So what does this mean? This object is moving at such a slow rate that you couldn't see it with your naked eye. Even if you did recognize it, if you were scanning with your binoculars and picked it up, you really wouldn't see it move unless you knew it was there. And I see this over and over again in all these videos. It could be airplanes, even high-flying airplanes. Low Earth orbit satellites. They'll move across the field in, you know, before the stars can move too far. But this thing, the stars are moving like a half hour in real time. And these dots are keeping their own orbit, which is going across the screen. And, you know, I could assume that they're satellites far away. That's the only reason why a satellite would appear to be moving slow. Satellites move extremely fast, like low Earth orbit. They're like 10,000 miles an hour because they got to go around the Earth in like 90 minutes or something. So they're going really fast. And there's other odd things I see. So, man, I got to go back and look at this, you know. And it depends. You know, you get a really clear night. There's no humidity. There's no moon glow. Then you get to see these weird things. And there's so many of these weird things out there. I seen one going from left to right, and I seen one going from right to left. Well, what does that mean? That there's more than one of these objects. And what are they? All right, the 3-second exposure, f1 lens. I had to gain up quite a bit. I don't know what the gain on the software relates to. You know, I didn't see any documentation. And then there's gamma. You know, the gamma, that's just to make the background darker. So if you look at these, and remember, this is like a 9 hours worth of sky, nighttime sky, and you're only seeing it in 5 minutes, and there's weird stuff to see in that 5 minutes. And other strange things, too. Like meteors. Meteors will be one streak on 1 frame. Or you'll see it, blip, and it'll go by, but you got to go back, and then I don't know if you could do frame advance in your video server's viewer player. But I could do a frame advance using this Windows Media Player, you know, and you could step through. I've seen software or even hardware that it would make a series of dots across the sky. Of course, the stars would be doing that too. The stars are describing arcs because they're circumpolar. But this thing would be a straight line, like 90 degrees to the arcs of the stars are making. I guess there's software you could do it, but I'm not familiar what software would do it or where we get that software. You know, I use modules. I use a module to do this. I use another module to do that. You know, and maybe I have a final module where I make my presentation. But there's all sorts of strange things you could see at night in the sky. Oh, the Andromeda Galaxy. That's like a 4th magnitude, but it's made of even more dimmer stars. And you could see how big it is. Like with your eye, maybe you see a tiny little smudge, and then binoculars, like powerful binoculars that collect a lot of light, you can see it takes over the whole field of view of the binoculars. And this thing captures that. It's very sensitive, and that's why you can see so many strange things at night. and even clouds. I say clouds are okay because I'm waiting to get that boloid or fireball that zips behind the clouds. I'm waiting for that. But, barring that, there's all these other things you can see. And of course, the clarity and transparency of night varies from night to night. Later in the season, you get in October, and as the leaves drop, then they block a lot of light pollution. So in the wintertime, it may be clear and cold, but you get a lot of sky glow, especially when you live 35 miles north of New York City. Oh my God, it's pretty bad. So it's really, if you're interested in this stuff, is to really study and see this, because I had to look at a couple of videos too and say, hey, what's that? And I don't know why the exposure is flickering like that. I don't know what to think. In the original video, it doesn't do that, so it must be some sort of post-processing. This is Cassiopeia. If you look to the left of your screen, you'll see the Andromeda Galaxy. That triangle there is pointing towards it. It's pointing to the left. That's Andromeda.